Kasa, kasa, kasa manya manya dimamyo. Eja kasa, o kasa na manya dimada. O kasa na manya bayakum. Eja shame mobro. Mi mama ni so hwe huma etuya. Awurade wo na me hwe wo. Humini mi mai mobo. Wona wo kasa ehumu na etu opetu no breso no. Ema yekum. Meja kasa. Meja kasa. Mi hao Yesu, mama ni Yesu, ediwa. Humi mobo, maensi miye. Papa se ube moi, papa se uba braboi moi. Mi hao nina, rintina mi subio. Miha Yesu, amani Yesu, ajiwa. Humi mobo, maensi miye. Eja se ube moi, daddy se uba brabo moi. Mea nina, bekwe ye. Papa se ube moi, eja se uba brabo moi. Mea nina, rintina mi subio. Kasa ninya me kasa, 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 eja kasa.
Let me get my charger.
Abraham, Asifono, Bakunimi, Papa, Uchinchi, Binum Swa, Kaimi, Eja, anyone tell me, anyone tell me, who may mopo, me a mopo. Abraham, Asifono, Ebinimi, Awurade, Uchinchi, Binum Swa, Michel, Eja, Birasotiri boy, Nawuda Suya, Namidia, Maun Sasu, Masrochi, Edi. Birasotiri boy, Nawuda Suya, Namidia, Maun Sasu, Mamina, Indasu. Obeti wedia, aji sajuma semya yeye. Mao sasu, neshe udi ni munyam.
Ase o Kristo ni na sawetu no na se osi abotari chewe ni ma. Umani dinkuni, uchini fina utrimu. Naso memera oye tepia na mantumia chaya choya frewa manecho na mano anka bonibi emi are acho mi acho papa ejuma semnu koye kasana remunya usantrana ya rohi Kasa makuantomeye Une me for mirai Una ubetu mi shamedani
All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, we definitely love to thank you all for tuning into Columbus, Ghana afternoon program here. Today, we have the privilege and the honor in celebrating the class of 2020. So wherever you are right now, if you're tuned in and you're part of the illustrious class of 2020, whether you graduated from kindergarten to first grade, or whether you're going from 5th to 6th grade, or whether you're going from 8th to 9th grade, or whether you're going from being a senior in high school to graduating in college and going on from a bachelor's to a master's or master's to a PhD, we want to salute you all right now. So I'm going to want you to do whatever you are. Just give yourself a round of applause. Yeah. Class of 20. If you're right now tuning in and you're in the chat box right now, right under the chat box, just say yeah if you're part of the class of 2020. Just say yeah, class of 2020. Go ahead, put it in the chat. Put in the chat. Just put yes. So I'm excited I could deliver this session to you all on this Sabbath afternoon. And essentially our whole theme for Education Day is stay winning. Stay winning. Pastor Kojo, if you're watching this morning, he's the one who delivered the opening keynote, and I have the pleasure of delivering the final keynote for Columbus, Ghana SDA Stay Winning Education Day celebration of the 2020 graduates. And I'm excited that I get to deliver this for you all. So with this session, a couple of things that I want to remind you of. As you can see from my title screen, which is Stay Winning, what I want you all to do is that if there's any statement that I say that you resonate with, I want you to tweet it or Instagram me or Facebook me, wherever it is. I want you to tweet it, Instagram me, or Facebook me at Kofi Twumasi. Kofi Twumasi. You should see it on the screen there. KOFITWUMASSASI. Make sure that you tweet it or Instagram it. So KOFITWUMASII. 2 I's at the end of that. You can hit me up on IG. I always say we have the greatest message, but we usually don't spread it all across. So make sure that you at me at Kofi Twumasi. I always tell people don't remember sermons, people don't remember speeches, but they remember the stories and they remember the statements that are made from the message. So any statement that I give and you feel resonated by it, we want to keep the chain going on. So make sure you hashtag me at Kofi Twumasi on Instagram so that I can make sure I can keep forwarding that, or on Twitter as well. So my session today is called Stay Winning and Don't Choke. And one more thing before I even begin, you can also, at the end of my presentation, if you have a question you want to ask me, any question regarding my presentation, because we want to make sure today's presentation, wherever you are in the world, you still have the opportunity to ask me a question about my presentation, question about finding the purpose that you need in life. All you have to do is call in. So while you're watching this live stream, at the end of my session, you can actually call in at 347-791-1406. And when you call in, we will be able to make sure that we can answer your questions. So that'll be towards the end of the presentation. So make sure you take a note of that. So I'm excited today. Let's go ahead and make sure that we get this started on the right foot. So wherever you are, if you're ready for today's afternoon keynote, just put it in the chat box. Ready, 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 ready. Just put the word ready in the chat box. Whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, just put ready, 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 ready. Because today I'm going to take you all through a message on how to make sure you can stay winning. But we want to make sure you stay winning and you don't choke. That's the key fundamental. Stay winning, but don't choke. So is everybody ready? Let's go ahead and get right into it. So my favorite basketball player is a person called Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant, the late Kobe Bryant, as we once know, in the game of basketball, he was probably one of the most clutch performers ever. And when we say he was one of the most clutch performers ever, Kobe Bryant, if you give him the ball and he needs to win a bucket for his team, you can always count on Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant will always deliver. He was what we call a closer. When you give him the basketball towards the end of the game, Kobe Bryant will make sure that he will take that last shot. And he won't be nervous about taking that last shot. He won't just be distraught about taking that last shot, but he will have a cold-blooded look about taking that final shot. Kobe Bryant was what you call a closer. When you give the ball to Kobe, Kobe will never choke. I wish I could say that about Samoa Joe. I'm just playing there. But we all know Samoa Joe messed up that penalty. So I don't know if we give him anything, we can be entrusted into him. I still love the Ghana Black Stars. But one thing I know about Kobe Bryant, when you give him the ball, he is what you call the closer. He will make sure that in that moment, he will not choke, but he will deliver success so that his team can stay winning. And the same fundamental that Kobe Bryant believed, the same attitude towards winning Kobe Bryant had, the same perseverance Kobe had towards winning, is the same kind of mentality you need to have if you're going to achieve greatness in your life, especially on this day when we're celebrating the class of 2020. You need to make sure that as the class of 2020, you stay winning. But even if you're not a part of the class of 2020, but you're an individual in your life and you want to stay winning, I'm talking about winning, everybody, then if you want to stay winning, what you inevitably need to do is that you need to make sure this presentation, you understand the concept. Don't choke in life if you want to stay winning. And I'm going to give you all the secrets to make sure that you will absolutely not choke in your life and keep on winning. Because after you win, you must stay winning. And in order for you to stay winning, you cannot choke. So I'm going to give you those fundamentals here today for this presentation. So like I said, Kobe Bryant had the attitude of making sure that he will stay winning in his life. And some of you are asking, well, if Kobe Bryant had this fundamental belief of always winning in his life and not choking, how can I make sure a person like me who wants to succeed in life, how could I make sure that I can also stay winning? Because I do not want to choke, I do not want to regress, but I want to make sure that I progress in life. So the first point that I want to give to those of you who are tuning in right now and those of you who are looking to take your life to the next level, the first point that I want to give you all is making sure that you stay winning and you don't choke. This is the fundamental point. You can't win in life if your growth is dysfunctional. Don't miss this, everybody. That's a good one. You can't win in life if your growth is dysfunctional. And the key element that I want to say to you all here today is that if you're going to succeed in life, the number one thing that you need to have with you in order to succeed is making sure that you're growing. But you just cannot grow anyhow. You must grow in a certain way because you cannot win in life if your growth is dysfunctional. And I can relate it to my own purpose because my current grind, placement, and embracement into the beautiful struggle that I am in and the profession I am in, it really came about this fundamental principle. I did not submit into my profession, or let me say it in this manner. I did not arrive into my profession by accident. I arrived into my profession on the stamp of purpose, because you cannot submit to a profession on a dysfunctional purpose. Does everybody get what I'm saying? You cannot submit to a profession on a dysfunctional purpose. And the key element when I understood about purpose is this. In order for you to find the purpose in your life to keep on winning and to keep on growing, you have to tap into what frustrates you, because what frustrates you draws you into your purpose. And once you understand your purpose, you can keep on growing in life, because growth in life, in order for you to stay winning, really clicks on whether you're able to find your purpose. And you're finding your purpose by frustration. Your frustration draws you to your purpose. So some of you might be saying, okay, frustration draws me into my purpose. Preacher, I'm with you, but I don't think I'm all the way with you. What do you mean that my frustration will take me to my purpose? And this is the key element, everybody. I don't want you all to miss this. The key element is this. You have to transform what frustrates you in life in order for you to find your purpose. Yeah, I know. Frustration. And what do I mean? Well, let me illustrate with this concept right here. If we look at some of the people we've come to love and be loved in history, we have seen that those individuals that have made an imprint on society, they were able to find their purpose by submitting to a purpose that showed them their profession. And these people that we have been able to come and love and be loved today, they tapped into their frustration. And once they tapped into their frustration, they were led into their purpose. So when we look at, for example, the civil rights crusader and the drum roll major for justice, Martin Luther King, we understand that in order for him to find his true purpose, he tapped into his frustration. Because what was Martin Luther King's frustration? He saw that people of his own skin color were being oppressed. He saw that people of his own skin color were being marginalized. He saw people of his own skin color being emotionally manipulated. He saw people of his own skin color not being served equally. And once he saw that frustration, he said to himself, that's it right there. My purpose in life is to find a way where I can fight for those that have been marginalized. And that's what led him to become a pastor and a civil rights crusader. He was able to win in his life because he tapped into his frustration. And once he tapped into his frustration, he was able to find his purpose. I could even go on and talk about Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. They were able to find their purpose because they tapped into their frustration. How can we change the world that we are living in today? Once he was able to answer that question, he found his purpose. What I want to inevitably say to everyone who is listening is that in order for you to stay winning in life and not choke, especially those of you who have graduated and those who are looking to keep on climbing the uphill road in life, you have to say to yourself, I need to tap into my frustration in order for me to find my purpose. Because if you're going to grow in life, you can't grow on an inaccurate purpose. You can't grow on an inaccurate purpose. You can't grow on a dysfunctional purpose. You grow dysfunctionally when you have not achieved your purpose. And let me tell you all why some of you are in a position where you still don't know what you need to do with your career. And this is it right here. You're in a position not to do with your career or not being the best at what you're doing right now is because you are not living or operating within your purpose. And you live and operate within your purpose when you know you wake up and love what you do, and you go to sleep knowing that I can't wake up the next day because I want to make sure I keep on fulfilling my purpose. Because I said today, if you're going to stay winning, you have to ensure that you don't have a dysfunctional growth. You have to find your purpose. And I'll never forget, you see, for me, I'm a lawyer, and I graduated in 2019. And when I wanted to become a lawyer, I became a lawyer because that's what my purpose told me. And how did I essentially become a lawyer? I essentially became a lawyer because I made sure that I tapped into a profession that made sure that my purpose was being manifested. And it's the same thing for many of you who are listening. If you want to be in that true profession that you want to set out to be and live in and be satisfied in, you have to tap into your frustration because you can't grow dysfunctionally. And I'll never forget this. A lot of us, we are not able to grow functionally because a lot of us confuse our passion with our purpose. And let me make a fundamental point here. Your passion might not be your purpose. Your passion might not be your purpose. You see, a lot of us, we might be skilled at certain areas, we might be gifted at certain areas, but that might not be our ultimate purpose. And in order for you to make sure you don't confuse the two, you got to holistically say to yourself, is this frustration that I really have about life, is that in the purpose that I have arrived into? Because again, if your passion is not your purpose, it is why you're still in the place you are today. But if your purpose is truly a frustration, and that's truly going to make you say to yourselves, I want to uplift humanity, then in order for you to grow in life, your growth cannot be dysfunctional, because you cannot submit to a profession on a dysfunctional purpose. So when I said to myself, class of 2020, those who are listening, those who want to keep on succeeding in life, I inevitably got to my purpose of being a lawyer because I tapped into what frustrated me. But some of you are saying, well, Kofi, I get it. I need to tap into my frustration. I need to tap into what drives me crazy about society. But how do I actually figure that out? And that's a great question. Now, this is the second point I want to put here today. In order for you to stay winning and not choke in life, you can't win in life if you're not obsessed with growth. Does everybody get in? My first point was this: you cannot win in life on a dysfunctional growth. But the second point I want to give you all here today is this: you can't win in life if you're not obsessed with growth. So now I did not say just growth, but you have to be obsessed with growth. And that's how you're going to succeed in life. Those who just graduated, and those who are looking to find ways to keep elevating, and those who are in the wrong purpose right now, you have to say to yourself, am I obsessed with growth? Because in order for you to win, in order for you to achieve victories, in order for you to gain new heights, you got to say to yourself, am I obsessed with growth? Am I obsessed with being a better person in life? Am I obsessed in making sure I am in the purpose God wants me to be in? And this is the key point that I want to illustrate. You cannot have a true purpose if you're not obsessed with growth. A lack of obsession with growth does not lead you to your purpose. So when I said I want to be a lawyer, how did I arrive into that moment? How did I say I want to grow into gaining that purpose for my life? And this was the key element here, and I don't want anybody to miss this here. In order for you to grow in life and find your purpose or your frustration has to lead you to fight for an audience that you love the most. Does everybody understand this here? Your purpose or your frustration has to lead you to an audience that says, my purpose in life needs me to fight for these people who are not being served righteously in humanity. And I understood this from a moment where I grew up. I grew up in New York City. And when I grew up in New York City, I grew up in Far Rockaway. Far Rockaway is not the wealthiest neighborhood in New York. And Far Rockaway, there were individuals like myself and others, black people, that were being disenfranchised and marginalized. And when I saw the struggles people like myself were going through in my neighborhood, that's when my audience geared me towards my purpose in life. Because I said that your frustration has to lead you to an audience to fight for. And you can only find that when you're obsessed with growth and obsessed with finding your purpose. And I grew up in an area where people were going through a miseducation process. You see, I grew up in New York City where in order for you to enter a school building, they had to search you like you were at an airport. They had to have security on you. They had to make sure your bag goes through a scanner. They didn't trust us going into the school to be safe because they felt that we were going to bring weapons into the school. And I saw the miseducation process that was going on with black people like you and I. And I said to myself, if I'm going to find a purpose, what my people are going through, that is where God is probably calling me into, because my audience is saying that they need somebody who can champion their rights, who can champion the miseducation that black people are going through. And that's where inevitably I said to myself, they're going through a miseducation process. They're going through a mass incarceration process. They're going through a specially educational process, juvenile adjudication. It was these frustrations that people, black people like myself, that were going through. And inevitably, I said to myself, I need to ensure that a purpose that God is giving me is used to fight for people that I can personally connect with. And that's how you find your purpose. Your purpose ultimately has to say this. Your purpose has to find an audience to fight for. Once you identify an audience that you know if you were in a profession that can help these people out, then you have arrived into your purpose. Because the key fundamental point is here. You have to be obsessed with growth. Arrival into your profession is weighed by what drives you to elevate humanity. Everybody see what I'm going on here? It's weighed by what elevates you to drive humanity. Whatever your purpose is, if your purpose is not connected to elevating humanity, that's not a purpose for you. And see, some of us, that's where we're stuck at. Because I identify from where I'm coming from, I've seen black people like myself being brutalized by the police and having no individual who can advocate for their behalf righteously. I said, being a lawyer will afford me that opportunity to fight for people who are going through the police brutality process. I said to myself, our kids are being miseducated. If I was a lawyer, I can fight to make sure that schools in poor areas are still gaining the best resources, the best teachers, and making sure our kids are going to be something in society. I said the only way I could do that is being a lawyer and changing our policies and making sure I'm representing our children to ensure that they can gain the right education. And I said inevitably to myself, that is my purpose. But I was only able to find my purpose when I was obsessed with growth. And in order for you to succeed in life, in order for you to stay winning, you have to tap into a purpose that says you are going to fight for a certain group of people. And when I was in undergrad, this really became manifested and clear to me. Because as I was going through undergrad, I got into a situation where somebody made an article in the newspaper, and the article that they wrote sounded like they were deaf a little bit, did not understand how racism operates in America, and to some of us black students, it seemed to offend us. And at that moment, when that injustice happened on my campus, I said to myself, my purpose is screaming to me here. Because I was not able to sit back and say to myself, this injustice going on my campus, I can't sit there and not do anything about it. This injustice going on my campus, I can't just be silent about it. And inevitably, I realized that my purpose was now being made clear. Because I did not want to be silent, and I want to champion for my people. I'll never forget when this person wrote this article that was racial, had racial tones, and seemed to not understand the plight people like myself and other marginalized groups go through. At that moment, I could have either been the silent individual who would say nothing, or have the impulse to say something. And when I had the impulse to actually go and make sure that we can fight against this injustice article that had been produced, inevitably it told me that God has given me a purpose to be an advocate for people. And that's what led me to be a legal professional. Because it was something about that article, that racial article, that said to my soul, I cannot be silent about it. I need to go and advocate for people on my behalf. And I want to tell you all this here. If you're going to find your purpose in life, when an incident happens and it connects with you, that is the birth towards your purpose. Does everybody understand me? When something happens in society and that connects with you, you have that impulse and that urge to make sure that justice or the right thing can be done and discovered, that ultimately leads you to your purpose. And that is what I call being obsessed with growth. Obsessed with growth means that you are looking for areas where your impulse is saying to you, you cannot stay silent, you need to advocate. And that's where my calling for being a legal professional came. Because I knew that I had the ability to advocate on people's behalf. I knew that I had the ability not to be deterred by public opinions. I knew I had the ability to ensure that the right thing could be done. And essentially, that led to my calling of being a lawyer. And that's how I got into my purpose. And I want to say to you all here today, some of you can't identify your purpose because you can't identify an audience to fight for. In order for you to find your purpose, once you identify the audience to fight for, your purpose will become manifested clear. Because I say this all the time, you cannot discover your purpose or destiny overnight, but you can discover the directions to your purpose. I'm going to say that one more time. You cannot discover your purpose overnight, but you can discover the directions to your purpose overnight. And that's what it is here. If you want to win in life, I said the first thing is that you have to ensure that you are within the right purpose. And then the second element I said here is that you can't win in life if you don't have what we call an obsession with growth. And you become obsessed with growth, especially obsessed with finding your purpose, when you can find an audience to connect to. And class of 2020 and those who are looking to exceed to new heights, you have to say to yourself, am I obsessed with growth? Because once you're obsessed with growth, that obsession will lead you to your purpose. Well, some of you might be saying, well, Kof, I get it. You're saying that I need to be obsessed with growth in order for me to find my purpose. You're saying the first element is that in order for me to find my purpose, I need to not have dysfunctional growth. I need to ensure that I'm obsessed with growth. So what's the third aspect here? And I'm going to help you all with the third aspect here. You can't win in life if your growth doesn't operate on resilience. Say that one more time. Somebody better be tweeting this, Instagramming this, because this is juicy material here. You can't win in life if your growth doesn't operate on resilience. Because in order for you to succeed in life, your resilience has to be unmatched. In order for you to grow in life, your resilience has to be intense. In order for you to grow in life, you have to cancel your fears and operate on resilience. It's only resilience that's going to lead you to your true purpose. It's only resilience that's going to work out your purpose. It's only resilience that's going to make you live in your purpose. It's only resilience that's going to help you fight against all odds with your purpose. And I always say, this is where my purpose was tested. My purpose was tested when I went into law school. And I'm going to tell you this because a lot of us here, we are wishful with our purpose or our profession sometimes. But as soon as we start doing the work towards our profession, that's when we realize it's not for us. That's when we start backing out. That's when our fears override our resilience. That's when our fears override our ability to make sure that we're within the purpose that we want. And I say this, if you don't have resilience in whatever profession you're in today, or what profession you want to pursue in life, if you don't have a resilience towards that profession you're aiming for, then it's not your purpose. Because in order to stay winning in life, winning is connected with resilience. I was in law school. I was excited, right? I said, this is the purpose God has given me. This is the purpose God wants me to live in life. This is the purpose God has been speaking to me to ensure that I can lift up people who are within my society being disenfranchised. This is the calling that I feel like is going to be it for the rest of my life. So my first day of law school, boy, I was excited. I'm like, man, after this 3 years, I'm about to be making $100,000 a night. I'm about to be a millionaire. I'm about to be the greatest lawyer. I can't believe it. I got into my place of purpose. So the first day of law school, I was excited. You know, especially lawyers naturally have a certain ambience about themselves. So I got into class. I'm all hyped up like, man, I'm about to be the top one in this class. About to be top, man. None of these people can see me. So the first day of class, I got in. And as soon as I got in, law school was slowly becoming real. So I sat down, and mind you, that day, I did not have my books. I did not have my notes. I did not have nothing, but I was just so egotistical in my mind that none of these people can touch me. And in law school, we are pretty much taught with the discipline of the Socratic method. So the Socratic method is this. As soon as you come into class, your teacher will look on the roll sheet and call your name, and you have to answer almost every question they throw at you that day. Your teacher's going to be on you. So he's going to be like, Mr. Tomasi, I want you to tell me about Hawkins versus McGee. I want you to tell me everything you can about this case. And if the professor likes you, he might ease up on you. But if he doesn't like you and he sees that you can't answer the questions well, the professor, what he would do is that he will stay on you for an entire class period and humiliate you and make you feel embarrassed that you're not meant to be in law school. So first day I sat there and I thought, it was going to be the ordinary syllabus day, introduction to the course. I wasn't worried. I didn't have my books or nothing like that. So I sat down, and then unbeknownst to me, the professor did not treat it like an introduction day, but he treated it like this is like the 5th day of class. You're supposed to know your material. You're supposed to know everything that's going on. You're supposed to have done your reading and everything. So he looked in the row sheet, and then he looked in the rows, and then he called a person's name. I was like, whoa, this professor is serious. He's actually going to be calling us out in the classroom and expecting us to know the information. This is not introduction day. So as soon as that happened, he called a person that was sitting next to me. My God. I immediately got nervous. My heart went up. I was like, God, please don't have this professor call on me next. I was sitting next to this girl. I did not have my books, my resources, my materials, and I was all nervous. And I'm telling you, that day, he went ham on everybody in the classroom. But luckily, he didn't get to me. And after the class, I'm like, whew, God knows I was not prepared. I could not master whatever he wanted me to answer. And at that moment, I felt like I could not do law school. I felt like I cannot be in law school because I did not have the brains, the intelligence, and the ability like my fellow classmates. So I remember I went home and I called my brother. My brother's the pastor. So I said, Pastor, I don't think I could do law school. This ain't for me, man. These are like some of the smartest. I'm smart, but these are like quadrillion smart. I don't think I can handle this. I don't think this is the right purpose for me. And I will tell you what my brother told me. I thought he was about to agree with me and say, hey, if that's how you feel, then don't go into this profession. But my brother hit me with this, everybody. And if you know a pastor, they always going to hit you with this. The Holy Spirit said, Kofi, you have to continue. I'm like, man, what you talking about? The Holy Spirit? Come on, man. Why pastors always got to do that? Why you all religious folks always got to do that? You got to hit it with the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit said this. He's like, Kofi, I'm serious. The Holy Spirit said, you have to do this. And at that moment, I said to my brother, man, I don't know if you're lying or you're just trying to play some manipulative games on my mind to make sure that I don't give up on my purpose. But this is inevitably what happened here. Unbeknownst to me, that night that I took to my brother was actually prophetic. Because it was that night where I had to do a self-analysis on myself and say to myself, if this is truly my purpose, then my resilience is going to take me through my purpose. There's no obstacle that's going to stand and hide of me in order for me not to achieve my purpose. There's no going to be a stumbling block that's not going to allow me to achieve my purpose. And you have the right purpose in life when your resilience says nothing comes your way is going to deter you from your right purpose in life. And I want you to understand something here. In order for you to make sure that you submit to the right purpose and get to the right career and have the right profession in life, you have to make sure that you have resilience. If there's resilience for you to achieve that profession or purpose in your life, then you have found the purpose God has anointed for you. Because in order for you to have the right purpose, you're working within the purpose of your life when your resilience has an attitude that says, I can't give up. I want to say this here. Your purpose is connected with resilience. Class of 2020, and those of you who are looking to succeed in life, whether you're 60, whether you're out of college, whether you're adulting, if you are finding that purpose and don't know what your purpose is in your life, you have to tap into resilience. Because whatever your purpose is that's anointed from God, your resilience will keep you to that purpose no matter the stumbling blocks. And what did I have to do? Because in law school, there was fundamentals. I had to make sure my resilience will keep me narrow-laced and focused on my purpose. And what was it here? The first element that I had to understand is that in order for you to stay winning in life, and in order for you to operate on resilience to achieve the career or purpose and profession you want in your life, this was the first element that I had to discover. Motivation keeps you going, but discipline keeps you growing. Motivation keeps you going, but discipline keeps you growing. You cannot grow in life if your growth is not disciplined. Everybody understand me? Motivation keeps you going, but your discipline keeps you growing. And I understood in my life, in order for me to find that purpose and still operate with resilience towards my purpose in life, I had to make sure my growth was disciplined. And for those of you who are making sure that you want to be in the right purpose, some of you are not in the right purpose or not operating with resilience in your purpose is because you're not disciplined with your growth. In order for you to find the right purpose, your growth has to be disciplined. And I had to work that out. So in order for me to achieve that purpose, I said I had to make sure that I read more. I had to make sure that I was writing more. I had to make sure that I was organized more. I had to make sure that I prioritize more. Because in order for you to succeed in life, and some of you, why you're not able to start and finish with your careers, why you're not able to flourish in your careers, is because you're not disciplined with your purpose and your career. You have to be disciplined with it. And that's the fundamental that I learned in law school. That I had to make sure that there were habits. If they were not going to keep me towards elevation, I had to de-escalate from it. Don't miss this. If there were habits that were not going to escalate me in life, I had to de-escalate from it. And some of you all here have to de-escalate yourself from habits that are not going to take you to your purpose and flourish. Another element that I had to learn in law school, and a big fundamental principle, is that you can only grow especially if you have unmatched ambition. Your ambition is what's going to make sure that your growth is being fleshed out. And I remember when I was trying to make sure that I was operating within my purpose of being a legal professional, it came down to this point right here. Was I saying to myself that my ambition was going to keep on going? And this is how it works. I need to make sure that I was ambitious with my career. And a lot of us, we're still stuck in the same zone of life because we're not ambitious with our growth. You have to be ambitious with your growth in order to succeed. Then another element that I had to learn in order to make sure that I had resilience towards my purpose and I kept growing in life and I kept making sure I was operating within resilience was this key fundamental principle. What I had to learn was that your network is your net worth. Everybody understand this here? Because a lot of us, we have a purpose in life, but we're not able to enjoy that purpose or really find that purpose because we don't discipline our purpose. And essentially what happened here was I had to make sure that if I was going to grow, I had to grow my network in order to grow my net worth. When you're in your field of purpose, you have to make sure that if you're operating on resilience, resilience says I have to establish my network. I have to make sure that I'm communicating with others that can help me flourish my purpose. I can make sure I'm communicating so that I can have opportunities so that when I'm done with my degree, I can make sure opportunities are waiting for me and I don't have to always go and knock on somebody's doors. But in order for you to find that, you have to operate on resilience and understand your network is your net worth. And then a key element with that, and another element that I had to learn in finding my purpose, is that a winning circle gets you a winning career. Does everybody understand? A winning circle gets you a winning career. If you want to be successful in life, your circle has to be good as the success you want to achieve. And when I was in law school, I'll never forget, I telephoned friends and mentors ahead of me. I said, you all have been through this path that I'm trying to connect to with my purpose. And because you all have been through this path, I need to ensure that I connect with you all so that I can make sure I am not lonely on this journey and I can operate well on this journey. Some of you all here are not able to harness or finesse your purpose or really gear into your purpose because you don't have a winning circle. A winning circle gets you a winning career. You need to have people within you that can make sure they can help you flourish your purpose. Because you can always tell where someone is going in life by the mentors that they have. In order for you to grow and find your purpose, a winning circle gets you a winning career. And then what's the other element that you also need to understand? The other element that you need to understand in order for you to connect with your purpose is that you have to ensure on that road on finding your purpose, you have to say to yourself, a championship mindset is a prerequisite to prevail in adversity. A championship mindset is a prerequisite to prevail in adversity. That's the element here. Because in order for me to succeed and become this glory that I want to be, in order for me to have these heights of my purpose, in order for me to fit into the right purpose of my life, I had to say to myself, I need to make sure I have a championship mindset. Because it's only a championship mindset which is going to be the prerequisite to make sure you avail in any kind of adversity you're going through. A championship mindset is a prerequisite to prevail in adversity. If you don't have a championship mindset, when anybody discourages you about the purpose or profession you want to gain into, you're going to go with the wind. You're going to go with the thoughts they say. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to drown in doubt. But when you have a championship mindset says, I need to keep on winning, stay winning, because God has put a purpose that I need to achieve at all costs. So in order for you to connect with your purpose, you got to have a championship mindset. That means that you got to take care of your body, because your mind can never be at peace if your body's not healthy. In order for you to achieve and grow and stay winning and find the profession that God has anointed for you, especially in this season that we're in, you have to have a championship mindset, because a championship mindset is what's going to help you prevail in adversity. But after I said, if you're going to grow in life and stay winning, you can't have a dysfunctional growth. Then number two, in order for you to stay winning, I said that you have to be obsessed with growth. And then number three, in order for you to stay winning, you have to operate on resilience. So what's the fourth way in making sure that you grow in life? In order to grow in life, you have to understand this fundamental principle. In order to grow in life, you have to grow and elevate humanity. I'm going to say that one more time. In order to grow in life, you have to grow humanity. Because in order for you to stay winning, your growth has to say to you, I'm going to grow humanity. And that's the fundamental principle here. Because what has happened in society that we live in here today is that a lot of us, we are not able to find our purpose because we don't find a way to grow humanity. See, a lot of us are 9-to-5 individuals. We're 9-to-5 in terms of once we go to work, we clock out and we're finished. We have nothing to do with the profession God has given us. But if you have a true purpose in your life, your purpose ought to say, I want to grow humanity. And when you have a desire to grow humanity, that's when you have arrived into your purpose. Because purpose is connected with the growth and elevation of humanity. And what do I understand from Scripture? This is what I understand from Scripture. Because remember, when we look at the life of Jesus Christ, the one who gave you your purpose in life, when we look at his life, we see that God had a purpose, and his purpose was to die for us. And he was only able to die for us because he saw that in order for us to elevate, we have to make sure that he comes and dies for our sins to grow us up. And in order for you to make sure that you are working within the purpose of your life and ensure that this is the purpose God has given you, your purpose is only true if your purpose leads you to grow in humanity. You got to grow humanity. That's when you know you've arrived into your purpose. And I knew I wanted to be a legal professional when this came here. I was in school, undergrad. This was even before I went to law school. When I was doing my undergrad, before I went and did my doctorate, this is undergrad law school. undergrad before law school. And I saw that black students, like myself and others, came from homes where finances were not all the best in life. And I said to myself, why don't I come up with an idea where I can create a scholarship, especially for people of African American color, to help them succeed and gain the purpose God has given them. And I said to myself, if I'm able to create a scholarship, I can save someone from financial termination in the school. I can save someone from not having the inability in order for them to succeed because they didn't have the finances to graduate. And I said to myself, I'm going to create a scholarship because I want to ensure that the growth, the success of people in this school that did not have the financial needs and financial monetary funds in order to succeed in life, I want to change that plight around. And that's where my purpose became manifested clearly. Because I had a burning desire not to just lift myself up, but to lift other people up. And I said today here, if your purpose does not say you want to grow humanity, then you're not within the right purpose. Not within the right purpose. Because your purpose has to scream to you, I want to grow humanity. And when I created this scholarship, we were able to award people and help them with their finances on the campus. And I was able to do this not because someone paid me to do it, not because someone betted me to do it, but I did this because my purpose said I needed to find ways to grow humanity. Some of you have not found the right purpose yet because you don't do these elements that I profess to you this evening. In order for you to grow in life, your purpose has to grow humanity. In order to stay winning, your purpose has to grow humanity. Because what I see in Scripture, Matthew 25:40. Matthew 25:40 says, you must fight for the least of these. And if you have a purpose given from God, then what Scripture says, fighting for the least of these, your purpose ought to fight for the least of these. And when you want to fight for the least of these, that's when you're not within a fake purpose, but you're in a real purpose. And if you're in a real purpose says, I'm going to grow humanity. Because the key fundamental principle is this: the world is not our home, but it's our calling. And as long as we are on this earth, God has given us prenatal purpose. And because God has given us prenatal purpose, you cannot live and operate within a purpose that does not want to grow humanity. Growth towards humanity. I said number one, in order for you to stay winning, your growth can be dysfunctional. I said number two, in order to stay winning, you have to be obsessed with growth. Number three, in order for you to stay winning, your growth has to operate on resilience. Then I said number four, in order to stay winning, your growth needs to elevate humanity. You have to grow humanity. But what's the fifth point, everybody? In order for you to stay winning in life, you can only win if you're obsessed with winning. You can only win if you're obsessed with winning. I want to say here today, you have to be obsessed with winning in your life. A lot of us, we graduate today and become illiterates tomorrow because we're not obsessed with winning. We celebrate in the win of today with our cap and gowns. And I get it, man. When I graduated, my head was like a watermelon because people don't understand what I've been through. If you don't know my story, you won't understand my glory. But the key element that I had to understand at that moment is that once you graduate, there's an onus on you to make sure that you harness that achievement you've received. And that's what has always lived in my life. Then in order for you to win, you have to be obsessed with winning. And being obsessed with winning says, I'm going to find areas where I'm going to make sure that even if I've graduated, even if I've achieved that promotion that I wanted, even if I've achieved that liberation I wanted, I'm still going to be obsessed with winning Because once I deceive and say I'm not going to be obsessed with winning, that's when my life can go in reversal mode. We want to keep climbing uphill in life and not going downhill in life. We want to make sure that we are growing and we keep on growing. And we want to make sure we win and we keep on winning. My people here, those listening, the class of 2020, those who are looking to fulfill and gain higher glories in their life. If you want to win, you have to be obsessed with winning. Winning has to be on your mind when you wake up in the morning. Winning has to be on your mind when stores blown in your life. Winning has to be on your mind when friends desert you. Winning has to be on your mind when you even lose a job that you thought was for you. Winning has to be on your mind when your business fails and says, I'm going to pick up myself and still do it again. Winning has to be on your mind. All we do is win. And if you're obsessed with winning, this is what Scripture says. Scripture says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Because if God is for you, no one can be against you. The great hip-hop crooner, and I'm going to take it from the lexicon of hip-hop, the Luminous line says this: all's my life we has to fight, but if God's got us, we going to be all right. In order for you to succeed and operate and find your purpose in life, you have to be obsessed with winning. And once you are obsessed with winning, your purpose will be made clear. Your purpose will stare right in front of your face. Your purpose will lead you to walk into your destiny. Your purpose will lead you to fight for others. Your purpose will lead you to elevate humanity. Your purpose will allow you to feel desired and feel that you have done the best in life. Your purpose will be made clear. You will wake up without an alarm clock because you have found your purpose. Once you have found your purpose, that's when you win. And after you find your purpose, keep on winning with your purpose. Stay winning and don't choke. Because one thing I understood about Kobe Bryant's life, when Kobe Bryant had that ball, he wanted to make sure it goes into the net. He had the confidence and the bravado he needed because he was obsessed with winning. You also have to be obsessed with winning. Stay winning and don't choke. At this moment, what we're going to do is that I'm going to open up the phone lines. So if there's questions, maybe you have questions about finding your purpose. Maybe there's questions about finding the career that you want. Maybe you don't know how to navigate in your life right now, and you want to understand how to find your purpose or how to make sure your purpose can help you navigate through the storms you're going through. I'm opening up the line right now. So if you look on the screen, you should be able to see a number. It says 347-791-1406. As soon as you call, you'll be able to ask your question, and then I can answer it for you. And if you don't want to call in, what you can do is that you can go into the chat, and once you go into the chat, type your question in, and I'll be able to see it. So at this moment, I'm going to open it up for at least 10 minutes. I'm going to open it up. If you have a question, all you do is call. The number's on the screen. I'll be able to answer it. If you want to type it in, you can also type it in as well. If you want to tag me on Instagram with your question or Twitter, tag me as well. All right, so I'm trying to look through to make sure I haven't missed anything. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat, or you can call in, and I can answer this. So let me go ahead and read what's in the chat here, just to show you all that I'm actually looking at this. So someone said, Benedicta Sa said, motivation keeps you going, but discipline keeps you growing. Shout outs to Benedicta for putting that, frame that. That ought to be the motto in your life. Then we have, someone said motivational words for us going back to school. I'm glad this was motivational words. All right. Someone said, you're a great mentor. God bless you. All right, Marcia D. Hopefully I said that right. Shout outs to you. Grow and elevate humanity. Yes, indeed. Shout outs. Obsessed with winning. That's right. All right. So great. I was able to retrieve those. And let me see if I can see any other communications that have come in as well. All right, and you can also IG me on Kofi Chumasi, at Kofi Chumasi. Let me see if I can read anything else coming in. All right. Great, so I'll leave it on 5 minutes. Any other questions, shoot them in. Just shoot them in, let them come in. Or you can tag it, put it in the chat group. I'll be able to answer those as I'm still with you all. Just put it into the chat, or you can call in at 347, the number's on the screen, or you can put it in the IG, tag me so that I can see it, and I'll be able to answer those questions. All right. All right. Yes. So I seen a question that just came in. So let's go ahead and answer this question. How do you know if your purpose is the right one? So shout outs to this, and I'll keep these anonymous. So if you want to message me on IG, it's on the screen there. IG me at Kofi Chumasi. It's KOFI-TWUMASII, double I at the end. You can IG on me on Instagram, or you can call into that number, or you can text me at that number. I'll keep you anonymous as well. So let's go ahead and answer this question. This is definitely a great question. How do you know if your purpose is the right one? So this is a question that I'm always asked all the time, and I'm always honored to actually speak about this. And it really comes to the first point that I said in my presentation. The first point that I said was you have to tap into your frustration. Your frustration draws you to your purpose. Because remember, you can't submit to a profession on a dysfunctional purpose. So you have to tap into your frustration. So I'm going to give you all an example here. The first question you need to ask yourself, what frustrates you about humanity? What is it? What is it? Is it people not gaining access to great medical benefits? If that's something that frustrates you, then that is where it is calling you towards your purpose. If maybe frustration is, I want to make sure, this was my frustration. I seen that people are being killed by the police. And what are the stats in America? In 2019 alone, there was 1,099 deaths, people who were died by the police. How many of those were black people? 24% of those were African Americans. Black people are shot every 7 minutes in America. Black people are actually being exterminated in America. So I said to myself, with those ideals, that frustrates me, that is going to draw me to my career path. So what I want to say that in order for you to find your purpose, you have to tap into what frustrates you and then transform your frustration in order for you to see your purpose. So once you find out your frustration will lead you to your purpose. And then another thing that I also tell people is this: your theology has to pervade your purpose. So if you say to yourself, well, I see that people are not getting great medical benefits. I see that people are not getting, the right treatment, and I want to discover a treatment that can alleviate cancer or AIDS or anything of that nature. You see that as a problem, and you say, okay, I'm frustrated with that. I want to change that around. Then you found your purpose. But then I say your theology has to pervade your purpose. So your theology is a critical component. Because I always say to myself, a lot of times when I was going to law school, some people would say, well, how can an Adventist be a lawyer? How can an Adventist still live the calling of Christ being a lawyer? And this is how my purpose connected to that, because I say your theology has to pervade your purpose. In every profession, there's good and bad actors. So in the pastoral profession, there's good pastors and bad pastors, right? I can name you some really good pastors, some bad pastors. In the medical profession, there are good doctors who really care about their patients. There are bad doctors who don't care about their patients and will do anything to get a check for themselves. You have good people that do well in their profession and people who don't. So at the end of the day, I said to myself, okay, well, perhaps they could be unethical lawyers. Perhaps what you're saying to me, they could be unethical lawyers. But I say this: whatever you embody is what you deposit into your profession. Somebody type yes into the chat. Somebody type yes. Whatever you embody is what you deposit into your profession. So if you're a dishonest person, you're going to be dishonest in your profession. If you are a liar, you're going to be a liar when you enter into your profession. If you crave money, you also want to be a money craver when you get into your profession. So whatever you embody is what you deposit into your profession. So I said to myself, well, my theology says I need to fight for the least of these. And if I'm going to fight for those marginalized, being killed by the police, those who are being miseducated, those who are being gentrified, those who are going through mass incarceration, those who are going through aspects of life where they're being emotionally manipulated, then my theology is saying I need to fight for the least of these. The best way for me to change the landscape is change policies. That's what led me to my legal profession. So you have to ask yourself, number one, what frustrates you in society? Transform your frustration. That's number two. You have to transform it now. After you transform your frustration, the third thing you have to ask yourself, is my theology going to pervade is it going to push me into my purpose? But remember, your purpose is critical and it's catalytic in life. It can push you to pain or it can push you to glory. Everybody understands this? Your purpose can push you to pain or glory. Because if you have a false purpose, it will push you into pain. But if you have the right purpose, it's going to push you to glory. So those are the questions you have to ask yourself. Once you're able to ask that, then you find it. But the simple way I say, what frustrates you, transform it, you're going to find your purpose. And that's how I found it, and that's why I'm with it to this day. So that's a great question. I know I went in on that question, but that's a great question. Okay, let me see. Another question has come in. Someone said, should I tell others my purpose, or is it good to trust people because they can lie or turn against me because of envy? It's best just me and God. Good question. Should I tell others my purpose? I'm going to repeat it one more time. Should I tell others my purpose? Or is it not good to trust people because they can lie or turn against me because of envy? This is a great question. Now, this is something I debated. I debated this question because I'm going to say this. If you agree with me, just say yes. Just say yes. I want you all to dialogue. I know COVID has us not being together, and I'm so grateful for this technology that people in Europe, wherever you are, you're listening. So just dialogue with me. If you agree, say yes, yes, yes. So should I tell other people my purpose, my dreams in life, or should I keep it to myself? I'm going to tell this. People in life will commit spiritual malpractice by misdiagnosing your dreams so you don't achieve progress, but instead regress. Say it one more time. People will commit spiritual malpractice by misdiagnosing your dreams so you can't achieve progress, but instead regress. And I want to say this here. You can't always share your dreams with flawed people. Someone need to tweet that, Instagram that. You can't share your dreams and your purpose with flawed people because there's some people that don't want to see you progress in life. They want to see you regress in life. So they will use what you think is your purpose and turn against you and say you're not good for that. I know many of you have heard that. Many of you have heard that, oh, you're not good for this. You don't have the right skill set for this. You don't have the right gift for this. You don't have the right passion for this. You don't have the knowledge for this. You don't have the will for this. You don't have the determination for this. I'm going to tell you this right here. Don't let someone else deter you from your dream. Because what I realized that we have dream killers in our society. Don't let them kill your dreams. Just kill the noise. Don't let them kill your dreams. Kill the noise. Kill the noise and stay focused on your purpose. Don't pronounce a funeral on your dreams by burying your dreams. Don't pronounce a funeral on your dreams by burying your dreams. So, in all, don't share your dreams with flawed people. And it comes back to what I said earlier, right? One of my points was you have to be obsessed with growth. Obsessed with growth says you have to be obsessed with having the right people within you. Because a winning circle gets you a winning career. So I told my brother this because it was somebody that I trusted in. Someone I knew who would not give up on me, but will see the passion that I have. So yes, don't share your purpose with everyone. Share it with those you trust. And trust usually comes from people that are always rooting for you to win. That's why I love my family. They're always rooting for me to win. Even if I can go through difficult circumstances, they're rooting for me. Make sure you have people who are rooting for you and not disowning you. Great question there. Let me see if there's any other questions that have come in. Is it good to have more than one purpose? That's great. Is it good to have more than one purpose? Great question. And let me answer that for you. You can have more than one purpose, but I like to organize in this manner. You have the overarching purpose, and then you have subcategories under that overarching purpose that your purpose still allows you to fit within those sub-purposes. I always say in life, if you're so unfocused and you don't have some kind of narrow towards your purpose, you're going to be a lot of things, and you'll realize that you're not really good at all those other things that you're interested in. So your purpose is one element. What do you want to do in life? You have to be able to ask yourself that question. Your frustration leads you to that answer. Stay within that purpose. But obviously, purpose, if you're in the right purpose, will allow you to be multitasking, to be multitaskful with your purpose, meaning that you can fit in different areas of life because you have a purpose that's calling you for that. So I'll give you my own personal example. Obviously, I'm a legal practitioner. But I said that your theology has to pervade your purpose. I saw that being in the legal world, I can still minister. So because of that, I organized my own nonprofit with my brother and a few friends of us, and I, in that realm, serving humanity. Because I ultimately said to you, if you have the right purpose, you have to grow humanity. So inevitably, you have to have that sole purpose, but have subcategories under that sole purpose that can connect with it. And the key question that you have to ask yourself, does my purpose connect to these other sub-purposes? So I do humanitarian work, social justice activism. I love music ministry. I love sports ministries, and I want to be all over in these places. But I have to have that central purpose that I operate in that can allow me to click under those sub-purposes in my life. So yes, have one purpose, but make sure that that one purpose can lead you to subcategories in your life that can still boost up the main purpose in your life. So I always say, have that sole purpose, achieve that, and then start growing out the branches from that sole purpose. And then once you grow it out, you'll be able to connect in life and keep on growing. But if you have a false purpose, you know you have a false purpose when you're doing a lot of things and you're not succeeding in all those different things. A lot of people do a lot, but they don't succeed a lot. Focus on the purpose and then have those branches come out. Great question. All right. Let me see if there's any other questions here. Let me tap into this chat box. All right. And if you're on YouTube as well, let me check those as well. You can also, if you're on the YouTube, you can also place them in the chat box. Sorry if I haven't paid attention to the YouTube. Let me go to that one. And great, keep sending in your questions. I'm still here. Still here to answer them as much as possible. We'll give it like 2 minutes. Thank you for sending in the questions. Got another question that came in. And again, you can send in these questions. I won't say your name. Your name will be anonymous. All you have to do is use the number on the screen, 347. It's a U.S. number, so just make sure you put the country code. I think it's on the screen as well. But 347-791-1406. Or you can IG me, or you can text me the question as well. So let me go ahead and answer these couple of questions that have come in. How do you achieve your purpose when you don't have the needed finance? That's a great question. And I'll repeat it one more time. How do you achieve your purpose when you don't have the needed finance? Excellent question there. And a lot of us, we get stumbled with our purpose because we don't have the financial resources to achieve our purpose. And this is where it comes back to one of the points that I mentioned, because I said that in order for you to stay winning in life, you have to operate on resilience. That's what I said. In order to stay winning, you have to grow with resilience. And one of those sub-points that I mentioned was your network is your net worth. So let's talk about that real quick. Your network is your net worth. Because in order for you to succeed, especially in areas where you're financially weak, that's when your network will come in handy. And why do I say this? A lot of times, especially if you want to flourish in your career, you can only grow as much in your career if you're surrounded with a network of people and a network where you can ask, where you can receive support, and where you can receive guidance and monetary help towards your purpose. And the key element here is this. It is pivotal for you, especially when you don't have the finances, network as much as possible. And I'll tell you why. When I started my nonprofit and I wanted to do mission work in Africa, I'll tell you the story. My brother, 4 days before he was going off to Kenya, my brother called me and said, "Go. My man. You know, he hits you with the man. He's like, man, I was praying to God. I was praying to God. The Spirit was telling me you got to come on this mission trip. I was like, Kojo, I'm not a preacher, and it's 4 days before the trip. I don't have the money. I don't know if you're lonely and you're afraid and you're trying to get me to come out there." He's like, "No, God is telling me you need to come on this trip." I said, "I don't have the money, man. I don't have the money. And it's only 4 days. How am I going to get it?" And my brother gave me this principle here. He said, "Tap into your network." And I was like, okay. So I said to myself, let me tap into my network and see if they'll be able to help me out. And I'm going to tell you this right here. Because I invested in relationships, I gained a huge return. And a lot of us, we're not able to finance our purposes and gain the resources towards our purpose because we don't invest in relationships. Once you invest in your relationships will in return give you the help needed to achieve your goals. And at that moment, when I didn't have the finances to go out to Africa and do this mission work, because I invested in relationships, I had a network that were willing to support me to achieve this subset purpose of mine. And what I want to say to you all here is to this: if you don't have the money, life will hit you with different corners. And not all of us have the resources to do this. What you need to check within yourself: have I invested in relationships? Have I taken the time to get to know different people? Have I taken the time to tell different people my career? That I trust? Have I gotten the time to tell people why I am passionate about this career? When you're able to invest in relationships and you see some areas where you don't have the strength to live out that purpose of your life, because you have invested in relationships, they will invest back into the area of your purpose you want to achieve. So invest in relationships, and in return, it should yield benefits towards you to make sure that you can achieve the purpose that you want in your life. So invest, especially in those areas that you want to get into. All right, let me answer this second question. The second question is this. Maybe you are gifted in a particular area and you're able to assist people with that. Can that be your purpose? For sure. And I'll answer this one really quickly. Yes, if you're gifted in a certain area and you're able to assist with that, definitely is your purpose, right? Spiritual gifts, that connects with that. And the key element, I'll answer that really short here. Yes, it can be your purpose, but don't confuse that with your passion. Because your passion might not be your purpose. I want you to understand something here. A lot of people are helpful with people, and there's nothing wrong with that. But things you might be helpful or gifted at may not be your purpose. Your passion may not be your purpose. Somebody tweet that, Instagram that. Your passion may not be your purpose. So you can gift and help people all right, but that might not be your true purpose. But it is your true purpose if it is something that you are more than skilled at and you see yourself doing a career of that long term. If you can do it long term, then it's your purpose. Does everybody understand that? All right. So yes, you can be gifted in that area, but make sure that's your purpose. Thank you for that question. Let me answer this other question. And we're giving it 2 more minutes. Any other questions, bring it in. How do I balance my focus on both God and making my dream into reality? I don't want to be too distracted to keep building and pushing God away. Great question. I'll repeat it one more time. How do I balance my focus on both God and making my dream into reality? Because I don't want to be too distracted to keep building and push God away. Great. This is how I answered that question. in order to succeed in life, you got to have a healthy balance of righteousness and ratchetness. Let me say that one more time. In order to succeed in life, you have to have a healthy balance of ratchetness and righteousness. And those for you that don't understand ratchetness, in order for you to have a healthy life, you have to be balanced in your God purpose and also be balanced in areas to make sure that you keep your health intact. And essentially what I always tell people is that don't push God aside because God is the one who has driven you to your purpose. Remember that. In order for you to get to your main purpose, it is God that is giving you the vehicle to get to your main purpose. So don't ever give or turn your back on God. Because a lot of us, this is what happens. We achieve success, but forget the God that got us to our success. In order to achieve success, have God with you and have the purpose or the fuel to gain your purpose. Have Godfidence and confidence. Don't lose your God and don't lose your confidence. I'm going to say that one more time. Have Godfidence and have confidence. Don't lose your confidence to get to that purpose, and don't lose your God who will give you that Godfidence to get to your purpose. I just see one more question coming in. Let me see if I can answer this other question coming in. Let's see. Is there such a thing as this purpose is beyond me? Great question. Is there such a thing, this purpose is beyond you? Excellent. A purpose, and I'm going to end with this one here. A purpose is not beyond you if God has called you to that purpose. And I'm going to say better this. A purpose is not beyond you if you are not too hesitant in order for you to achieve that overachieving purpose. Key element here. It's not beyond you if you can go far with it. Does everybody understand it? The purpose is not beyond you if you can go further within that purpose. And this is what it is. And I'll say my whole life has been achieving things that I did not think I could do. But because I was operating in a purpose and I want to go further within my purpose, nothing was beyond me. I was stepping on them. And if you can step on it, then that purpose is not beyond you. But a purpose is beyond you if you don't have the resilience to achieve that purpose. So it's beyond you, like I said to my point, if you don't have the resilience to achieve. But you have that resilience, then it's not beyond you. All right, folks, well, that's my time. Thank you for the questions. And what I want to do is this. If you have any more questions, I'm going to put this in the chat group, and hopefully you all will be able to see this. Number one, you can go to KofiTwumasi.com. Kofi, TWUMASI.com. When you go on KofiTwumasi.com, you can actually sign up there, be a part of my emailing list, and you can also further ask me questions. So you can go on KofiTwumasi.com, and you can contact me there from there as well. You can also find me on the various social media platforms, Instagram, Kofi Twumasi, type in Facebook, Kofi Twumasi, you can find me, you can ask questions. I also have what we call a coaching program. So I also coach people to also find their purpose. So if you want to sign up for this coaching program, go to KofiTwumasi.com and you'll be able to see that. So go KofiTwumasi.com and look for my coaching program. You'll be able to sign up and I can tailor a course for you that will help you find your purpose. I can coach you to find your purpose in other areas of life. Then if you're also looking for purpose and more elements of purpose, I've also written a book. The book is called The Top 100 Secrets of Succeeding in Life. When you purchase that book, you can go on Amazon, just type in my name, Kofi Twumasi, as an author, or just type in Hood Life, The Top 100 Secrets to Succeeding, or go on KofiTwumasi.com and you'll be able to see it there. Purchase that book. I've given the secrets in how to find your purpose. One of the key elements that I tell people, don't let the clock of life lead you to a false purpose. Make sure you purchase that book because I don't only give secrets, but what we did was that we interviewed 10 other individuals that achieved their doctorates, and they also shared their secrets. So it's my secrets and secrets from all these other doctors. Then you can also go on YouTube.com and type in Kofi Twumasi and subscribe. Once you subscribe to Kofi Twumasi, you'll be able to see videos that I've done where we have talked about purpose and how to achieve a spiritual growth in your life. So you can also go on YouTube.com, search Kofi Twumasi, subscribe, and you'll be able to see videos that I've done. Nonetheless, I want to thank you all for tuning in today. This video will be there for you to replay it. What we request of you is to make sure that you hit the share button and make sure that you can share it so that other people can also find their purpose in life. For the class of 2020, last year I graduated with my doctorate, so I'm class of 2019. But for the class of 2020, you achieving this rare height and feat is a glory that you must give to God. And because you've achieved this height, I can only imagine what your life is going to be beyond this. For those of you who have graduated in the past and are still looking for a purpose, continue to operate within your purpose and continue to find the true purpose of your life. But in all, as we conclude today, in order for you to win in life, you have to stay winning. In order for you to win in life, you have to stay winning. May the good Lord bless you all.